Alright guys, now we're going to go over the charts of QCOM that I called out yesterday. I said it would break out and it did. And I'm going to explain why it broke out and how I saw it coming. So remember, like I made a post like before market open today. Yeah, I think it was today. Yeah. I said the first target, so we enter at 212 and then the first target would be 230 or 225, something like that. And the second target would be 240. And we actually hit both targets today, and which is really good. It's a quick 15% profit for me within a day. So it's very good. And now I'm going to explain to you why I saw it coming on the charts and how you could learn to spot these things as well. So first of all, we've got the 9 EMA, 21 EMA, and 50 EMA. So normally in swing trades, you normally refer to 21 or the 50 EMA, unless you're trading something really bullish and volatile like Micron, SanDisk, those AMD, those type of stocks. They've been bouncing off the 9 EMA like for like the last month. But if you're trading something more normal, it's better to refer to the 21 EMA or the 50 EMA. And the 50 EMA usually gives you a bigger coil, I should say. So because when it touches a 50 EMA, you usually get like institutional support. There's institutions stepping in. Whilst the 21 EMA, usually it's like a less sort of like reward, but it happens more often. While the 50 EMA is sort of like happens a bit like more, less frequent. So what's happened here is that you see the EMAs, they start getting stuck together. You see how like over here, they're very wide apart, and then they sort of like touch here, and then they get closer, and then they sort of like get stuck here around. And you would also notice that like in this chart, there's 2 points to look at. So this is where the EMA start like crossing over. So the 9 EMA was below the 21 and 50 EMA at this point, but it crossed over to be above it. It crossed over here to be above the 21 and 50. So usually when something like that happens, it indicates a momentum shift. But you can't go in, like you can't go in here, right? Because you have no confirmation. Like if you go in here, sure, it could have gone up like here, but you don't have any confirmation because the EMA's only crossed over, but it's like you didn't have a bounce off the EMA. It's only here. Do you get what I mean? You need confirmation. So if you go in here, sure, there's a chance of it like bouncing, but you see what happened is we continue to the downside because there's no confirmation. So the other point we are watching is here, where the EMA starting to like they're starting to get very close and stick together. Like they're very stuck together, unlike here where they're very far apart, right? So when they're really close together, it means that like they're catching up. The 50 EMA and the 9 EMA, they're catching up to each other, and they're ready, they're coiling, they're gathering strength and momentum and ready to make a move. And then we also have to look at the point of control, which is the huge red line here is the point of control. This is where like most buyers and sellers are here. This is like the price where the volume is the highest, and there's the most buyers and sellers here. At this price, nobody's in control. The buyers and sellers, they're sort of like balanced out with each other, and nobody's in control. So you wait for 3 candles up. So you see 1, 2, 3. That's your confirmation, and that's where you can go in, because at this sort of price level, it's where the stock decides to go. Like this is like the decision-making point. if it goes down 3 candles, it could get sent down, right? But here you see confirmation, right? You see a hammer candle, which is very bullish. Hammer candle, because you see this long wick here, it means buyers stepped in to defend this sort of level. So hammer candle bullish, and then 1 green, 2 green, 3 green candles. Here's your confirmation. But you can still wait for further confirmation, right? You wait for further confirmation, which is what I did. Went up here and then drop down a little bit, buyers step in to defend, and then you wait for green candles, 2 green candles, and then here's where I entered around here, and you see it went all the way up and hit this like whole entire thing. Is our profits here. So we're basically trading the continuation instead of like the start. So there's some people who would have entered here and it would have worked out for them, but they're taking a much larger risk than entering here. It's essentially a similar price and it will be a similar gain, but it's like it's like very different, because here you don't really know what's going on here. But here you get much more confirmation. You get the curling of the EMAs. You like one very important thing as well. Let me try to remove these first to let you be able to see what's happening. So one very important thing as well is you see these EMAs, they start like curling up. They start pointing up around this point. Like they're down, and then they start pointing up, right? But here, they're still pointing down. They're still pointing downwards. So this is another thing. When you see the EMA start curling up and start getting like stuck in like a cluster, it's a bullish signal. They're trying to do something. Like the buyers are trying to step in. They're trying to push the stock higher. So here's like simple sort of like chart analysis for you guys, and an explanation of why I went in around here and how I caught the upside, the continuation.